Well, Cat Williams was not playing when he said this.
All of these deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Hallelujah and amen. As of course the other shoe has just dropped with the crazy civil lawsuit and allegations that are coming out right now against Jay-Z. A man who, if you've been watching these videos, is up to some really weird, shady stuff. As of course we have been predicting this for years and months on end now, as it looks like the Illuminati symbology wasn't just a LARP, as a lot of powerful brothers out there are going down for some truly awful and heinous crimes. This, as 50 Cent responded to all of this by saying, are we still going to have a Super Bowl? Quote, asking for a friend. As a lot of the people that are worshipped, that are idolized in our society, seem to be some of the most awful, most absolutely sickening and horrible people on the face of this earth. As we have to say, we've called it here. We've been right on the money. All the predictions we've been making have been coming true, as we've been reminding people for a very long time now. Hey, whatever the establishment, whatever the main end thing is, it probably is associated with some really evil, dark juju, magic, spiritually entangled energies, and most likely demons, as clearly we are seeing a lot of the things kind of unravel here. But I think we are still scratching the surface with just how deep the iceberg goes, as we are seeing the tip of it finally being kind of exposed here to the general public in some very shocking, salacious details here. As of course, Cat Williams, in a very prophetic way, described a lot of the inner workings of Hollywood, just how sinister, just how evil, just how absolutely awful it is. And these latest allegations against Jay-Z are just as awful, as right now there's a civil case opened up from an incident in the year 2000 after the MTV Music Awards, where one victim who was 13 years old at the time is alleging that Jay-Z and P. Diddy were the ones that did horrible, awful things to them. Now, the accuser here is still anonymous, but she is represented by the Texas lawyer Tony Busby, who's a pretty big-time lawyer who has been doing a lot of major big cases, as he has a pretty big reputation that is at stake here, as this is all surrounding the federal lawsuit that was filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as the defendant, Sean P. Diddy Combs, which was just refiled this Sunday to include Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter. This says federal prosecutors in New York have criminally charged P. Diddy this September with racketeering, trafficking, and a lot of other offenses, as he is still currently behind bars in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, as he was just denied bail for a third time last month. His trial is scheduled for, of course, May 5th, and may even potentially involve a lot of other celebrities that are involved here. As of course, if you look at the MTV Music Awards, it was who's in the entertainment industry in Hollywood. A lot of these people hung out together. A lot of these people went to the same parties. A lot of these people did a lot of awful things together. All of this as the victim is claiming that she was forced to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, on arrival to a mansion that was hosting one of these parties that included P. Diddy and, of course, Jay-Z, where she details that there was a lot of use of controlled substances. This 13-year-old alleges that she was also offered a drink, which made her, quote, feel woozy, lightheaded, and, quote, felt like she needed to lay down. And when she went to a room to rest, she describes how P. Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room saying, quote, you are ready to, quote, party. Then she alleges some adult activity that happened that, according to the suit, was not consensual. She was held down, as there was even another female celebrity watching all of this happen, as Jay-Z and another woman, quote, looked on. There allegedly also was a fight and a scuffle that happened here. And then this is the same woman that also talks about how she specifically had to run away to a local gas station in order to specifically get away from the people that were attacking her. As Jay-Z has actually issued a statement about all of this by saying, quote, only your network of, quote, conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for your seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. As the statement was released publicly, as a lot of people are abuzz right now, specifically in the conspiracy world, mainly because of a lot of the symbols that Jay-Z uses, especially when it comes to the occult, especially when it comes to his larger connections to Marina Abramovich and the larger kind of degenerate effect that he has had on society that I would argue has been absolutely a net negative. If you look at what they glorify, if you look at what they promote every single day, if you look at what they affect people subconsciously with their music, it's all one of the most low vibrational, degenerate, most awful kind of disgusting behavior that really makes you wonder, how are people listening to this crap? As we have to remember here, there are so many people implicated here, not just with P. Diddy, but of course with Jay-Z, who of course, just like P. Diddy, was friends with a lot of the very biggest prominent Democratic politicians like the Clintons, the Obamas, and of course Kamala Harris herself, that seemed to have almost the entire P. Diddy freak-off list at her campaign rallies. As Jay-Z went on with this official letter addressing these allegations by specifically saying that Tony Busby is trying to extort him, Busby responded with his own statement, but let's read off Jay-Z's statements here, as he is strongly denying a lot of these claims being made against him, and is specifically saying that he's being blackmailed here, as he is saying that he was asked to settle this matter privately, refused to do so, as he says, quote, "It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion, so no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one." As the statute of limitations is interesting here because New York specifically passed a special law in order to get Donald Trump for this alleged crime that, of course, expanded it. But aiding and abetting or knowing that a crime is being committed still has a lower statute of limitations than, of course, actual assault. As Jay-Z goes on and then directly goes after the lawyer here, Busby, saying, quote, "You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity." And then he goes on and talks about how, of course, he would never do this. The lawyer here responded on Instagram by saying, quote, "Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and I am quite certain the sun is coming," as he posted himself in his Marine uniform and now is accusing Jay-Z's legal team of harassment and intimidation, as he is describing how a lot of former employees and people around him are being asked if he ever abused them, as he's talking about private investigators showing up to his home to harass him and how he's being absolutely defamed here. Now, again, we're seeing a lot of accusations here back and forth in this very public legal battle that's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds here. My fingers are crossed that there's going to be at least some disclosure here, at least some testimonies, at least some depositions here that we could get some red meat out of instead of course, settlements. But the fact that there isn't a settlement here yet highlights a very interesting kind of picture and perspective here. As Tony Busby is also talking about how he had a frivolous case under a pseudonym filed against him that had to deal with, of course, Jay-Z, as he's describing how Jay-Z is now suing him. And let's be honest here, by looking at everything that's kind of unfolding here, specifically when it comes to P. Diddy, now you add that to the larger factor of what happened to R. Kelly. And if you look at this kind of gang of individuals that have been hanging out for a very long time, you're telling me Jay-Z didn't know any of this was happening? You're telling me he didn't participate in any of this? You're telling me people didn't talk and have rumors about each other, about what they were doing, what they were up to? You're telling me when you were backstage with them at all these other musical performances, you didn't see any of this kind of wild, crazy stuff going on? And in my opinion, that's a little bit hard to believe here, as there's a lot of weird stuff here that I think is absolutely worth talking about.
When it was 2016, you know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
As you look at a lot of these people, and they have a long, extensive criminal past and a lot of other weird stuff that is just absolutely shady, to say the least. As we have very strange video clips like this of showing Jay-Z and Diddy coming out of a room with teenage girls in there. There's a lot of allegations and threats of violence. A lot of people coming forward and saying, yeah, Jay-Z knew exactly what Diddy was doing. There's a lot of lyrics and verses out there that really make you wonder what's really going on here. There's also a lot of allegations highlighting how he met Beyonce when she was only 16 years old back in 1997, when he was, of course, a lot older than that, nearly in his 30s, which brings up some kind of important questions to what was really going on here. As examining all of this and looking at all of this, especially from a kind of deeper, larger perspective here, it definitely does highlight the larger possibility of this sinister activity more than, of course, it allows it to be plausibly categorically denied. As again, hanging out with the spirit cooking lady also brings up a lot of specific alarms here, as she's literally the one pouring blood on effigies of children, literally trying to summon in demons. A story that we broke here originally on wearechange.org from the Podesta DNC emails before anyone else did. You're welcome, world. And when you look at a lot of this kind of spirit cooking stuff, it is absolutely awful. It is absolutely weird. As we have to understand here, there are larger criminal elements here that are bragged about, that are talked about, that are somehow used as badges of honor, as Jay-Z literally shot his brother, sold crack to members of his community. And I'm sorry here, but we're not dealing with upstanding citizens here. And that's why I think some of these allegations should be taken seriously, should be investigated. And we have to be honest and truthful here and understand here that there's other possibilities here that include a victim that could be lying and making a lot of this stuff up, as there are a lot of egregious cases of people usually accusing celebrities in order to get more kind of attention, fame, and money for themselves through these larger accusations that sometimes are baseless. And there are elements of this in our society that are also kind of very predatory, very weird, that we have to acknowledge here and have to understand is a possibility of what could be unfolding and going on here right now. But I wanted to leave the question to you guys. What do you think is really going on here? Let me know down in the comment section below, as of course we return in just a few hours from now on this particular YouTube channel for a very special podcast episode that you could call in on just by signing up to lookunfiltered.com, as we're also going to be doing a very special range day with some of the best instructors here in all of Florida this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern in Southern Florida. There's only 10 spots available. This is something that I'm just doing on my own private time. There's another company doing and handling all of this. But if you want to join me in a really fun, awesome time, sign up, become a member of lookunfiltered.com, and details of how you could participate this upcoming Saturday are all available right now for members of lookunfiltered.com. Again, only 10 spots available to hang out with me and do some really cool, fun things on a range just by signing up to lookunfiltered.com, as well as 6+ videos every single week just for members of lookunfiltered.com. So if you haven't taken advantage of that situation, take advantage of it right now. Click the link down in the description below. Click for whatever you could afford, because I know times are tough. That's why we made an $8 a month, 20 cents less a day membership, so you could join and get off of Netflix, get off of Disney, get off of Paramount, get off of Amazon, get off of all these horrible companies. Support local, small, independent media that's been calling this out for a very long time. We've been bringing attention to the situation for many years on end now. We're the ones that broke the spirit cooking story. And if you appreciate what we do, sign up right now on lookunfiltered.com so we could do more work for you. The more people that sign up, the more researchers we get, the more we're able to go out there, hit the streets, do actual on-the-ground reporting, which I'm dying to do. We need your support. We need your help all right now, officially. You could also buy people memberships on lookunfiltered.com. Sign up, and I will see you there right after this particular broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on lookunfiltered.com.